let's call things to order. I assume there are no citizen comments.
There are none.
Okay. Take a look at our February minutes. We haven't had a chance to look at those. Comments, corrections. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right. Ministerial reports. Well, it's our last meeting and I want to thank you guys. This has been a great board this year. We've been shorthanded, but we've got some things done. You know, so actually it's been a good group. And I really appreciate that. And I also, and I can't say this enough, how much I appreciate Laura. She has been a great liaison. She keeps me from being stupid.
That's not true. You
Oh,
would
that
not
time
stupid
is-
under any
I'll
circumstance.
always remember this. The secret side. The only thing I really have is I sent you guys just a bulleted summary report to cover the year, just to help the transition, which sort of supplements the tasks. And we gave the commission a list of our tasks that we assigned to us as a 2-page thing that we approved last fall. So I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, have I missed anything?
Totally good.
I mean, for a shorthanded board, we covered a lot of ground this year. If there aren't any additions or corrections, I guess we have it with, Matt has sent us a update on the Brick Street policy, so we can cross that off our list of things to do actually. So in terms of ongoing business, we'll discuss that here under Brick Street stuff.
No, not yet. Sorry, I got excited.
Oh, yes.
I will forward this report to your new liaison, to the new board.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, both Grace and Phil have been appointed to the new board. And the third person with historic preservation background is Anna Siefkin, who served on this board for 2 terms. And is very well acquainted with Brick Streets and the other things as well. So you will have 3 strong advocates for historic, a minimum of 3 strong advocates. For
Sure.
historic preservation. But I will forward this report to Eric, your new liaison, so that he has.
Okay. All right. That's basically all that I have. So Jeff's not here today. Anything?
I don't, other than just to say thank you very much. I really enjoyed working with all of you. As I said to Alan earlier last week, I do feel like I kind of gave you the short shrift with your education seminars, just because it happened at the same time as the Residence Academy and the transition, and I had a lot of new duties and I was short staffed. So ordinarily you would have had more help from me. So I do apologize. Going forward, you will have more assistance than you had. So I appreciate your patience. And I really hope we keep in touch. And I hope if you ever need anything on the communication side of things, that you will reach out to me. If you're new board, if there's things that you want in the magazine, that you want in social media, please let me know and I'll make sure it gets done.
Enjoyed working with you. Okay, so now we can go to Brick Street. The last thing we need to do as a preservation board here, we actually approved these changes last fall, but we approved them to the wrong draft. Right, so basically all this is the actual final approved copy of the policy, the Brick Street policy with Matt's comments. And I think Matt's done really an excellent job in reviewing this, of course, because you understand, you've been so involved with Brick Streets, you knew what was missing or what was changed and from what we submitted early on. And, you know, this is just our last effort to, make suggestions to the commission of ways to improve this policy, overall. And a couple, some really good points in here. One, of course, one of the things that's still always a bugaboo is the level of public participation. Because there's always that element, I think, on public works side where they just soon keep that part to a minimum, because they want to get going, they want a contract in place, they want work to get done. And they see, getting the public involved can lead to delays and so forth. But on the other hand, from the historic preservation perspective, the only way historic preservation works is with public comment. Because we don't really have a lot of real authority, but keeping people informed and educated and part of the process is how we get to know, okay, well, what is it the community really wants and what is best for the community overall? So I think it's important that we keep bugging them about, well, okay, when is the public going to be informed? When are they going to be part of this process? And Matt's done a good job helping to clarify that. And I really do appreciate, your last comments about municipality versus commission. Because just saying the municipality, like you said, the public works folks can decide, oh, right, we're going to really ignore the policy for this particular brick street without any consultation with even the commission.
If that's the meeting, it just seems so ambiguous to me.
So just some for the commission to consider. So I do appreciate these comments. I don't know, anyone else have any perspectives on them?
I mean, I read through, when I was reading through all the new materials, I read through the whole comprehensive, which I hadn't read through the entire thing that was released yet. I read through all that in the resiliency section. And I think this definitely does have a place to fit in within like the section of resiliency, if you even look at like public comments in terms of how people want, a general similar architectural feel to both business districts and to just like the general architecture of Mount Lebanon. People want to preserve that, people want to sustain that. And this goes, hand in hand with it and meets so many other, goals, I think, of resiliency. So I think it sort of flushes well with that.
So this comes to them as a recommendation, right? They can still not.
Right, we're always just an advisory board,
Yeah.
and so basically this is our advice as you consider these. Some of it's clerical stuff there.
Yeah, I can tell you're a lawyer, you have to capitalize the policy, and I, as an editor, go through lowercase everything.
I don't care one way or another.
That's an attorney.
Consistency.
Municipality,
Like in my firm, it's just be consistent.
And luckily, we had our finest legal mind on this.
Yep.
Make it good and clean. If there aren't any other comments, then we will forward this to our liaison then.
Yes.
At
Sure,
this point,
super, yeah.
be Jeff right now.
Mhm.
He's still gonna be the liaison, Jeff, after with the new board. I'm pretty sure.
They assigned that at the last
Yeah.
meeting and I don't remember.
It is Jeff, right?
Is it Jeff? Easy then. Easy peasy.
So we'll just forward this to him, so he can take it to the commission. Okay. Public education,
Our final session is tomorrow night, at 7. The Howard Hand offices, we have, Jackie Link is coming to speak about interior design issues and sustainability. And, Mike Gullo is gonna limp in.
He's a trooper.
He just said,
yeah,
either hip or knee replacement, I forget which.
I think it was hip, right?
Yeah. And so, he's gotten permission to go ahead and come for, he had emailed last week and said he wasn't sure. And, put us into a panic as to what to do as a backup plan, but, his doctor gave him permission, so. In looking at the two presentations, I think we'll probably have Jackie goes first, because she touches on a few of the things that he does. And his is much more detail oriented, so it seems like it'd be best to have that second. So, but other than that, yeah, we've had, between 25 and 30 people come each time, so it's been good. So hopefully we'll get that same tomorrow.
And the feedback has always been really great after.
Yeah.
People are very appreciative, like, thank you, I've learned something, I thought they both went really well.
Yeah, and some people who had missed one gave us their email and we've sent out the presentations to them or for the ones that they missed, so they could at least see the presentations and the others, so. Yeah, it's all been good so far. Thanks to Howard Hanna for providing the space. It's worked out well.
Yeah.
I think these events have been good. I've learned a fair amount going to these two, actually. Things I didn't know.
Yeah.
So this is our last official event as a Historic Preservation Board. So if you can at all, please attend as our last event overall. And Marion, thank you guys and your team for putting this together. It's work you guys put in for this and for each thing and last. Great too. So really, it's the type of thing that we hadn't been doing as much as we wanted to, but so we really appreciate you guys stepping up and taking this on and getting it done for us. And so advisory board transition.
Yeah, Jeff's not here. So Ian sent you both an email that has a bunch of stuff in it. Probably the thing I would draw your attention to is that policies and procedures. We have been running on a more casual basis here than we will be running. It'll be a little bit more formal. Just because, again, since it's consolidated, there's gonna be more business to get through. A couple of the changes, you all have been great about getting back to me about whether you can make a meeting or not, but some of the other boards weren't so good. So the board liaison is going to need to know the week before if you're able to attend, because if there's a cancellation, there's a lot of people to reach out to now. There's, paid staff that is paid to come to these meetings. IT is paid to come to these meetings. Our admins will be coming to these meetings. So that will be a way to, loosen up that taxpayer load, but also turn the room over since these two rooms are our smart rooms. There are other people waiting for it. So, and just because we expect greater public participation, which will be a good thing. But again, the worst thing for a member of the public is they get a sitter, they come up and they get parking and they come in and they find out a meeting is canceled because it wasn't on the website in enough time. So that'll tighten up a little bit. They prefer that people be here in person. Obviously, if you're sick or you've got a sick family member or something, they do remote. I think there will always be that Zoom ability if you're out of town on business or you're in your cabin doing fun things, remote in, but you're gonna have your camera on the whole time because they're gonna have to ensure that the quorum is met. And also, as you can see, I don't have my camera on, so it looks like I'm not here. So this recording that then goes and is put online, it looks like the person isn't in attendance, so that the public can't even see who is here. It's gonna be a little bit more formal. The chair will call the meeting to order. We'll read the roll call. We'll go through the agendas will look relatively the same. The minutes will work the same way that you're used to. There'll be more committee reports because those committees will report back. They'll still have liaisons to other boards, but you're kind of built in that you have 3 of the boards that you already liaised with in the room. So that's good. So I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a little bit more structure. There's going to be some new people who haven't been on boards before. Ordinarily here, we don't usually have more than 1 or 2 new people at a time, so they can kind of take the first 2 meetings and learn and then kind of pick it up and run with it. So that'll be a quick learning curve for them. Your first meeting will be an orientation with Ian. So I don't know how much business will be conducted at that meeting. He's going to go through all of this stuff that I just went through and then ask for your feedback and just kind of answer questions. So that'll be good. The one thing we learned when we had the DEI committee a couple years ago, we onboarded 36 people at one time. Most of those people had never been on a board. Things like sunshine law, right to know requests. I mean, I always orient people by tell them, any emails that you write that have to do with this agency business that you're conducting are discoverable, but some boards aren't told that, and then you get a resident who's upset about something and all of a sudden, boom, their emails are showing up in places they don't expect it to. So it's just real important that everybody kind of be on the same page. So I think you guys are very on it already. So it will be very smooth transition for you. So, and again, if you have any questions about anything.
Yeah, and I mean, we're gonna see how all this works out, but in the discussions that I've been part of and reading through the materials, it's clear that one of the things they have in mind is that for historic preservation, it'll sort of be in effect like a subcommittee of this bigger group board. And so there will be, board members who are part of that committee, but it's limited how many board members can be on that committee because it cannot constitute a quorum. So they can meet informally.
But you can have civilians as well, so you could have 4 members of the board. And you could go out at large and maybe have some of the members that have served on the board as part of those committee, they're not voting members, so you can do that.
That's what I was gonna say, there will be, I think they're calling them associate members, non-voting members who can be part of subcommittees, who aren't technically part of the board, but can attend board meetings as non-voting participants, but also can be part of that subcommittee. So Grace and I might be reaching out to some of you to see if you might be interested, or maybe other folks who've been on the board in the past too, because that will be the next, a bit of a task, trying to organize that to sort of keep historic preservation going, really, because that's really the only way it's gonna happen in terms of being able to get historic preservation board business done. Because if you think about it, I mean, you look at our summary report or the list of tasks assigned to the Historic Preservation Board, that's now assigned to this new board. But as an entire board, it's not gonna be able to do that much work. It's gonna be the subcommittee that's gonna have to handle all these tasks. So it's kind of a big, heavy load to expect like 3 or 4 people to replace the 7 that we normally had on this board in terms of getting these things done. So yeah, that's gonna be a critical part of this whole transition process, is this notion of subcommittees and creating those and structuring them, actually.
And just as a reminder, as we head into spring and summer here, one of your most successful educational activities last year was that first Friday. So we still have the historic district map. You may wanna, get new volunteers from that board to help you out, or like I said, civilians. That was a really good thing if you want to continue that we got really good feedback.
Or we could maybe think creatively of maybe doing something in conjunction with the Historical Society as a single space
Right.
or something like that, since we do kind of overlap in terms of what we're
Yep.
communicating to the public. So we'll see how it goes.
The other thing that's going to come in front of you and the design committee that Mary Ellen was repping to is they are going to be working on the second stage of we're calling it Active Uptown. So this is the activation. There's about $100,000 in the budget and they're going for grants, and that is to and they already got a $32,000 grant from the state, a matching grant for the partnership to put projectors in the light poles that will broadcast art onto the sidewalks, to signs of buildings, flowers, and they're really looking at like making, I mean, if you go downtown now, you see that light is a big part of everything. So so it's a matching grant. So but you'll be more involved in those conversations because you'll be right there. Instead of just having one person rep out, you'll all be there. So so that placemaking stuff is going to be coming in front of them, and you have a chance to make sure that the historic integrity of the business district is maintained through that conversation. So
It's the same entity that was involved with the comprehensive plan is kind of overseeing.
yeah,
right?
it's a little bit of different personnel though. It's not Jenny, but yeah, it's that they did get the contract to work on that. But not little things, but they're talking about taking Parseway behind that side of Washington Road and making it, other than I called it a pigeon disco. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So but cleaning that up, and then maybe you can have some businesses there actually have a face in the back. There's conversations about maybe moving the farmer's market there because it's less encumbered by traffic up here. It's safer. So how do we really take that? The other thing that they've mentioned is that loop, if you go from the public safety building down Parseway and back up, it's exactly 1 mile. So is there some type of fitness trail that they can hopefully get parents with strollers out? You get coffee, you stop, play with your kid a little bit, you take a lap, and then again, this notion of making Uptown a destination for more than just whatever you're using it for today. So you'll be involved in all those conversations. So I'm excited about that for you. I think so. I mean,
Yeah,
Keep us all on your email list if I know my life has been a little crazy with my mom, but if you need something and I can help, I will. I'm serious.
Okay, so, yeah, we'll see how this all plays out. be interesting. Okay, liaison reports. Matt, anything from the Economic Development Council?
Nothing that we haven't addressed.
Historical Society.
We have a meeting on Wednesday, and I'm gonna be sharing sort of the wrap up that you created with them, and then also communicating with them that you and I are going to be on the new resiliency board by that time.
And Jeff's been coming to our workshops here, for presentations from his first two, so, and he gave a little spiel.
It was good.
Yeah, it was, I didn't know that they could do that. So that's good. Planning board,
Yeah, it was a pretty dry and very short meeting. There's a subdivision plan that has 4 lots. They're just gonna divide it up a little differently between James Place and Beedling. Nothing really remarkable about it, to be honest. And they approved it. That was it. So very short and sweet.
and partnership design.
I don't have anything. To be honest with you, I was supposed to follow up with them and get an update and I didn't, so.
Yeah. It's kind of the way it is when you're just winding down a board as your last.
You have senioritis, is that?
Oh, extra time has been helping.
Yeah,
out, so.
you've been busy.
Maybe gonna email the planning board or email Ian. A lot of times when you're attending virtually and the developer is up there giving a presentation, whatever, it's very hard to hear what's going on. I don't know if they could improve the acoustics and the visual as that's happening, but if members of the public are attending, it's not the greatest experience. Just a little feedback there.
Hey, anything else? Well, it's been fun, gang.
Oh, I'm kind of sad.
I mean, this, like I said, has been a good board this year. You guys have done a lot. I appreciate that. And, we'll be in touch. You'll probably still hear from us.
See you at the dinner, right? next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Dinner's
gonna
next week.
Next
Oh, that's
Wednesday,
right. You
yeah.
guys all coming to the dinner?
I'm gonna come.
Great. Hey,
Unless
that will
something
be our
happens.
farewell party.
That's a good meal too.
It's a good deal. And those are fun to go to, so. But, okay. So one last motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So,
I'll second.
all right, all those in favor, say goodbye.
Do you need that binder back?
Okay.
No, okay.
That-
She doesn't want the binder.
Well, I